We are recording.
All right, this is the Tilton Northfield Fire District Commissioners Meeting, April 14th, 2026. It is 5:30 p.m. We are in the Tilton Town Hall downstairs meeting room. Members present include Commissioner Paul Ozier, Tim Sattler. Jason, I'll get to you in just a second. We have the chief and both deputy chiefs. We have Kathy, and from the public, we have Lisa Martin, Helen Hardenberg, and Kevin Waldman. We're going to conduct this meeting under RSA 91-A:2. That states that we can allow one or more members of the public body to participate remotely if a quorum of the public body is still present and in person at a physical location open to the public. And the board member states for the record why it is not reasonably practical for them to attend in person. Jason is attending via phone. Jason, if you could just confirm that you're on the phone and state your reason why you're not able to attend in person.
Hi, this is Jason Wright, and I am not attending in person because I have a physical limitation with both of my legs that I'm unable to make it from my house to town hall.
All right, thank you. All right, public comments. Shall we start there? Who wants to go first? Anybody?
Maybe later.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on. Anything? Okay. So first item on the agenda is correspondence. We received correspondence. I assume everybody here wants to talk about the building, so we'll wait for the building committee. Both of these correspondence are in relation to the building committee. So I'm going to move those to when we get to the building committee, and I'm going to move to the chief's report.
All right, Chief's report. I emailed that out to you guys. I'm still trying to find a good format. I'm starting to like this one a little better than I have previously. Not going to go over every single line. You guys can ask questions if you. But for the operating budget, for the first quarter, we're 21.7% through the budget. There is things out that don't correlate, so there is expenditures we have from the first quarter that I've counted. But so we're at a decent place in the operating budget. Apparatus equipment fund, we're at 12.7% for the first quarter through the apparatus and equipment fund. I broke it up. Those are the lines out of the MS 737. That's why I broke it up in those lines that way, just to make it easy to follow our itemized budget, the MS 737, and everything else like that. In March, we collected $84,656. It's a little more than we normally do, and I don't know if that is due to the new SB 245 legislation or it just is a blip. I have a meeting with Comstar on Thursday. Is it Thursday, Kathy? And I'm going to find out tomorrow. A bunch more about Comstar. Now that we're through the process, they're going to go over the contract with me. They're going to go over what we charge, how we charge, and ambulance revenue. We're going to talk about SB 245 and go from there. Incident responses, if you notice in March, this is probably the lowest monthly total I've had since I became deputy. So in probably 3.5-4 years, this is the lowest monthly total. We did do 66 transports, which is a little less, but not. It was the incident responses that were down, not truly the transports. You can see the yearly data below that. We've already picked up in April. April has already been back to the normal busy stuff. So I think it was just, there's been a few departments that have been a little slow through the beginning of the year, which is good. People aren't calling 911. They don't need us, but I don't know the actual reason for that. Maybe it's cold and people stay inside. Mutual aid, we provided mutual aid on 11 incidents. We received it on 4. Still haven't been able to get that overlapping call report due to nearest. But if you notice in the report, we have the mutual aid report now. We have the incident reports, so and I can change the way they look if you'd like to see them any different ways. Just let me know, and I can try to change them up a little bit. We didn't use any firefighter water supply. Rural or pressurized during the month of March. However, we have a meeting next week to talk about expanding our service to Caleb Hill Road. We did get that We got that easement signed at the end of last year, so we're going to hopefully start moving forward with that. I'd love to have that cistern in before snow flies. I don't know if that's possible, but that's my goal, is having that cistern in up on Caleb Hill Road. And we're going to get the diver here sooner rather than later. We missed the diving last year, so we're going to get the diver here soon. We're going to talk about that next Wednesday. So, fire prevention, it's starting to pick up a little bit. We did 40 inspections last month. The fire investigator interviews took place. We had 3 great qualified candidates apply. I wish I could give the job to all 3 of them. They all would do a great job. Deputy Stetson and myself. We decided on Captain Powell after doing the process. Captain Powell actually is applying to the Fire Academy tomorrow morning. I wrote his letter of recommendation, so he should be hopefully getting into fire investigator class. That stays open for about a month and a half, and then they go through, and because only 16 people get in. I'm pretty sure Captain Powell will get in, but we gotta wait till that process is done, because they do have a grading process of their own. For apparatus, A3 is still on target for June, July. I just sent some last pictures to you the other day. It looks like it's going to be in North Attleboro the first week in May, hopefully. A1 had another DEF system repair, went into lit mode again on an incident response. That seems to be a monthly occurrence now. And it also had Octicom traffic control. That's the device that changes the lights to green. We already talked about Hassel Alert last month, I guess. We did convene the ambulance committee. They have gone out and looked at Osage ambulances, PL Customs, a couple other ones. I don't want to speak for them, but they went to 4 different. They actually went to Concord the other day and looked at a Concord ambulance as well. So they're going out, seeing what other ambulances are out there and available. Personnel, Cody Karen got his advanced EMT, so now everybody in the department is either an advanced EMT or a paramedic on the full-time side. Travis Gosine got his Fire Officer 1. Deputy Stetson completed his Certified Public Supervisor certification through the state. That's a hard class. He's going to be moving on to the CPM in the fall, which is a great program to really get you the whole department management ideas. I took that program 3 years ago. It's a great program. And then this one is all Deputy Stetson. Deputy Stetson worked with the Lakes Region Training Division. We have not had a Swiftwater class in this area for 3 to 4 years. And it's kind of upsetting because the thrill usually comes from the New Hampshire Fire Academy. I would probably venture to say Swiftwater is the most dangerous thing we do. Firefighting, high-angle rescue, ropes, everything else. Swiftwater is, you can put water in a fire, it goes down, you can move yourself away from fire. Water doesn't move. You have to move with it, and it is one of the most dangerous things we do. We had 5 members that weren't Swiftwater certified. Deputy Stetson worked with the Lakes Region Training Division, worked with Rescue 3, is that the?
Rescue 3
International, coordinated all these classes, and now he has a class, is there 12 or 16 people in it?
It's a capped at a 12-person class,
Yeah.
and we have 5 in it.
And they gave us 5 slots in that class. So that's, not only did he get the class together, but to be able to secure us 5 slots in that class is great. And so everybody on the department everybody full-time member will be a Swiftwater rescue tech, which again, we have at least 1 or 2 real rescues a year, every single year. And it's an important certification. Call members, we just made a conditional offer to 1 new call member. And again, Deputy Stetson worked hard on this. It sounds like we've secured SAFER grant funding to pay for the physical, the training, and the gear for the new call member. We can do that for up to 3 call members. They have to get hired after a certain date, but Deputy Stetson did a bunch of legwork. The New England Association of Fire Chiefs applied for the grant. The grant is a New England grant, but basically every department that is combination or volunteer can get 3 members paid for. So it sounds like we're going to get this 1 member all his gear, his medical, and his training paid for, which is great. Thank you, Deputy Stetson, for working on that. We had a couple members attend the Northeast Fire Summit up in Wells, Maine. I'm happy to announce that the town of Tilton and the gentleman or the family that owns the building in front of us came to an agreement on the parking, and that fence is down now. It is officially down. People can drive through our station and not have to navigate our trucks and hopefully not ding and dent them. There is a lot more parking at Center Street now, and so I know the town administrator from Tilton and the land use coordinator Pat and Scott worked hard on that. I had a meeting with the family, and we got that opened up, so that's awesome. That's been needed to get done. And then I'm still awaiting a quote to clean up that oil water separator at the back of Park Street. Any questions? I know that was probably a lot.
I have a bunch. How often does that oil water separator historically get pumped?
Historically, it's so Joubert was the deputy the last time I did it, and I think it was a few years before he left. So I think it was 6 or 7 years ago. It probably is something that should be done every other year. Strategic came down, they pulled the cover off it. They used a wooden stick with, to measure how much sediment's at the bottom and how much oil's at the top. He wasn't concerned. He's like, it's doing what it's supposed to do. No contaminants have gotten through. But what his plan is to bring a big tank. He'll pump all that water off into the tank, clean out that oil water separator, and then pump all the water back into the tank. So there isn't a large volume of water lost. And he said that's the way they normally do it. So. And Strategic has been very good to us. They're the ones who helped us and donated the time and the machine to do the drain work for the gutter last year.
So we should do that more often. That Safer grant, how much money does that total to for one person for all of that?
It's limited. It's $400 towards a physical and an onboarding NFB physical.
About $700. So it'll save us $400 off that.
They're going to reimburse that cost that we would pay. They're going to reimburse up to $400. The PPE, a full set of PPE is probably closer to $5,000, and I think it's $41.25 is the amount that they give us. The training per member is a little over $2,000. It's like $2,100 or $2,200. So that's going to cover. The biggest expense that qualifies is Fire 1, Fire 2, and EMT. EMT is the biggest expense in terms of tuition. So it's likely that this particular member is very young and energized, and I think that he would likely, if we can get him into an EMT class and at least a Fire 1, it's going to cover the cost. Again, it's going to cover a majority of his onboarding physical, a majority of his turnout gear, and it'll cover the tuition costs for a firefighter 1 and a EMT class. And we can do that with, like the chief said, we can do that with up to 3 members because it's New England wide, and that's the limit that they put on it so far until they can make sure that it reaches across the whole area.
But as the chief said, it's for recruitment and new hires. We can't take any of our existing people.
So there's criteria. We can't take an existing member and then send them to a training that they haven't already attended. The new member has to commit to 2 years with us and a certain percentage of call volume, and they have to be, a call or volunteer member. In our case, it's paid on call.
Nice. Is that widely known?
It's kind of new. So at the New Hampshire Association of Fire Chiefs annual meeting last Thursday is really the first time I got an education on it. Deputy Stetson had been working on it, so they're kind of just rolling it out now. I think they got it approved in December, was it? I think around the November-December timeframe when it got approved. What's been holding? They've already actually had some reimbursements applied for. FEMA being closed. When FEMA closes, you don't get grant money back. So FEMA's been closed more than it's been open since December. So that's kind of a problem. But I hear the National Fire Academy was letting people go back to work today, so that means something's going on. So if the National Fire Academy is back to work, then the FEMA grants will open at some time. They're making it widely known and getting it out there.
I'm going to keep moving along.
I have a question.
Okay, can you hear us all right, Jason?
Yeah, you guys are great. Can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. So on the 2-year commitment for onboarding, I hate to ask, well, what's it look like if the 2 years are not fulfilled? Are we on the hook for refunding the grant? as a department?
We asked that question or not we, somebody asked that question, and it's going to be up to the fire chief's discretion whether that person is fulfilling their commitment. So it sounds like there's going to be no expectation that if something happens to get that money back.
Okay. So, I mean, so the grant programming doesn't monitor us, do they? I mean, are they
Nope.
looking? Okay.
No, I specifically asked that, and
Yeah.
it sounds like they don't really audit us. They're just relying on us to. I don't think they have the resources to do that. They're relying on us to basically, enforce the guidelines that they've set forth.
It's not like
If there
the
was any annual reporting or something that would.
No,
Okay.
I think it's probably just such a low dollar amount per department that
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense for them to do that. Is my sense.
And once you expend your 3, it's really on, if we didn't manage our 3 correctly, then it's on us.
Yeah, and they may open it up more as time goes on. That's the limit that they put on for the time being to make sure that everyone has access to it.
Sure.
All right, Jason, anything else?
No, I'm good. I like the report format. It's it's a little more bulleted and easy to a little easier to attack. So
All right, I just have a couple more questions, so I'll keep going. That Swiftwater training, did you say when that was happening?
June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The plan is that the limited classroom will be at the Franklin Fire Station, and the practical portion will be in the Winnipesaukee River on Cross Mill Road. Subject to change at the instructor's discretion with changing water conditions.
All right, and then the ambulance halt that you had the DEP problem with?
Yep.
Was it out of service for any length of time?
Was out of service for 2 days? I think it was a day and a half or 2 days. Yep.
What did that cost to get repaired?
I want to say it was the $2,000 to $3,000 range. I'd have to look up the bill, but I believe.
Don't see it. Okay.
Again, more death issues.
Ambulance revenue continues to go up even though calls are quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And then this past weekend, it seems like we did a lot of mutual aid.
I think everybody did a lot of mutual aid. There was a lot going on this weekend. It was a very active weekend. But I think we handled all our calls in-house, which was really good. The call company came in and handled. I made my silent approaches. I don't usually sign on until I know. I communicate with Mike via phone, and I'll start coming in. But, Mike came into a lot of stuff this weekend. I was on call this weekend. Like I said, me and Deputy Stetson are doing the off weekends. But, all the calls got handled. Call company. Dwayne's back, so that's great.
That's actually a correlation to the call volume. We noticed. The calls drop off.
He went away and it all dropped off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's back and it's up again.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you. No, it was interesting to watch because people were coming from a long ways away to help.
Yeah, and it was something going on in Belmont, Laconia, then Laconia again, then Guilford. It was, yeah.
All right, Jason, anything else on the Chiefs report?
sorry, I was muted. No, I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Okay, Paul?
No, I'm all set.
Right, anything you need to add?
I think we all covered it.
Mike? Good. All right. All right, let's move on to the building committee then. So, I guess first we've got the two correspondents I'm grateful for. Thank you very much. One is from Alan. And just reading this into the record, it's addressed to Kathy. Hi, Kathy. I understand the commissioner/fire chief are looking to reconstitute the building committee. I have interest if there is a need. I do have a background in leading a build of 2 warehouses, one overseas, because we had a lot of engineers in the company. They did most of the legwork with architects and contractors as needed, while I spearheaded getting all the information, project money, and parties needed to move forward and implement. If there is interest, would you please pass this along to the commissioners and the chief? Much appreciated. My response would be yes, there is interest.
I did get another email pertaining to this 3 minutes ago, so when you're done with that, I can read it.
Okay. And then Lisa sent a message to the chief, and Lisa's here as well. And this is in reference to an email that we sent out in regards to a message that we sent out to the building committee and the commissioners. Based on the fact that the commissioners have decided to start over with an RFP, thereby wasting taxpayer dollars once again, I will not be interested in continuing on the building committee. Every time we change designer / contractor, we basically lose the previous design team knowledge and throw previously spent money away. I'm not sure what the commissioner's goal is. We already set up the basis of design for 2 station. Hiring a new design construction company will not magically change the future construction cost. Working with Lorero to reduce cost is a prudent next move. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I'm sorry, but I will not be part of the never-ending cycle. I truly enjoyed working for you and wish you the best in your future endeavors. And that's from Lisa. Lisa, we thank you for your participation, for all the years that you've been on the committee, as we do with Paul. And so I guess at this point, I'm going to ask Sean to. Will you have a message?
So Nathan just emailed me at 5:46 this afternoon. He said, "Hi Sean, unfortunately due to my new job and the fact that the FSPC, I think he means the Fire Station Building Committee, meetings now conflict with the Tilton Planning Board schedule, I will no longer be able to participate on the Building Committee. Best, Nathan Lane."
Okay, thank you. And then I guess, do we want to open it to the public, or do we want to keep going with, I was going to have the chief sort of explain where the chief and the deputies in the fire department were at with our 2-station proposal.
I would like them, yeah, I think they should.
Okay, so we asked the chief to work on, knowing that we're talking about this 2-station and some of the questions we had about right-sizing the buildings and then what we were going to put at each location. Asked the chief to take a look at that, and he has presented to us.
So what I presented to the commission was I talked to my captains, I talked to my firefighters, I talked to my deputies, especially my deputies, and kind of and talked to the commissioners and said, what are our goals? What are we trying to accomplish here? We have a programming schedule. The building committee worked hard on that programming schedule. We have sites. The building committee worked hard on those sites, finding the proper sites. How can we use those sites? How can we use that programming to reduce costs? Lorero did send a lot of different ways we can reduce costs to us in that email, and I think you have that email. But there was a big push from the residents of Northfield, and not just Northfield, but Tilton as well, to save that Park Street station and reuse that building. Whether that's a great idea or not, it's there, it works. The bays in the decon area aren't perfect, but we don't live in a perfect world. So how do we accomplish Park Street, but then still have our headquarters and everything else? So what my proposal is we went down to myself and the deputy. Did anybody come with us? Or was it just
just 2 of us.
and then Lorero
Hudson,
came? Yeah. We went down to the Hudson Fire Station. The Hudson Fire Station is a 7,600 square foot fire station, which is it's a 4-bay. It's made for 6 people. So the 6 bunk rooms, like they said, it has a kitchen, a day room. It has offices for the working staff, not administration. The station was set up great. It was a horseshoe. It was built by, it wasn't built by Lorero, but one of their employees built it in 2019. It's a great fire station. Again, it's 7,600 square feet. The bay size is perfect for our Sanborn Road station. So it's 4 bays side by side. It would be facing directly to Sanborn Road. Again, I'm not an engineer. I'm not saying that's what we need, but that 7,600 square feet will meet our needs operationally for the staff members. If you add 4 more command offices and in a training room, now you have your administration. So if you do an 800 square foot training room and then say 144 square foot offices, you could get away with a headquarters at Sanborn Road with the programming that the building committee suggested, I believe, for around a 10,000 square foot building. And so you could be up there, and then that just leaves, we need to have availability for staff. not have the command staff down at Park Street. So what do we say there? So we suggested, I talked to architects, we went down, we met with an architect. I went down to the new Boston Fire Station, which just was completed a couple weeks ago, and talked to their architect, their engineer, about how they constructed. They built a 17,000 square foot fire station for just around $9 million. It was a fantastic fire station. What they have that we don't have is they're a DoD facility. They have a full-time active duty military base, so they're able to get it paid for by the military. We don't have that, unfortunately. But speaking to them, where was I going with that? It could be possible to build a building beside or behind the current Park Street station and connect it with a link. Again, it's not perfect, but we don't live in a perfect world. How do we reduce our costs? So my proposal down at Park Street is to build a wood frame structure suitable for 6 personnel, a day room, a kitchen, a gym, and like laundry facilities. And then build a heated link into the current Park Street garage and use the decon space available in the Park Street garage as it sits. That way we're not actually putting an addition onto the Park Street station, so we do not need to come to current code. I would like to re-side it and put new garage doors and new windows, but that we can separate that out, and if we have money to do it, we do it. If we don't have money to do it, we don't do it. So I think we can get away with somewhere around a 3,500 to 4,000 square foot wood frame structure. So if you build, say 3,600 is the first number I came up with, but I'm sure I'm missing something using the programming that we had from Lorero. So at 3,600 square feet wood frame structure, you could fit that next to or behind the station. I'd let the engineers and architects decide where to put it. I'm not a professional. I know how to put out fires. I don't know how to build buildings. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. If it was perfect, it would cost $50 million. We don't have that. How do we shrink the size? So my proposal is the 10,000 square foot building at Sanborn Road, new. That's the headquarters, with somewhere around a 3,600 to 4,000 square foot building down at Park Street, and just using. Because if we construct it like that, either the ladder or the tanker will come out of the bay at Park Street, opening up even some more bay space down there, and we'll have enough room for expansion of one more piece of apparatus if we ever do it. I don't foresee us having another piece of apparatus. It'll allow us to put 2 ambulances at either station, so we could bounce back and forth operationally. If that becomes the busier station, 2 ambulances goes up there. If the village station or the Park Street station is the busier station, the 2 ambulances would go down there. And it would give us operational flexibility to do both. With hopefully, in 10 or 15 years, somebody says, let's put a new garage or bays next to the Park Street station, but that's probably going to be after my time, if this plan would work. Is that?
Yeah.
So how big was refresh my memory, what was the proposal that the Arrow had?
Lorero. So at Sanborn Road, the substation was 10,600 square feet, but the biggest difference in that, there was some larger living spaces, but really it was the apparatus bays. They had 8 apparatus bays, and that was because of the way. 6, I'm sorry. Because of the way. So a lot of that.
So the pricing will still be the same or more because prices are going up as the existing proposal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just restructuring inside and what's going to be there.
And then at Park Street, it was around 14 or 15,000 square feet at the Park Street station.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. You're looking at changes in the type of construction.
Yes.
That might reduce costs.
So I spoke to architect, the one who built the new Boston Fire Station. Down there, they used a combination of wood and steel. It's technically a wood frame structure, but there's a lot of steel in it also. And in the interior partitions, instead of using block, they used metal studs and sheetrock. It's not, again, it's not a bomb shelter. It's not going to last 250 years, but it's going to outlast me. Probably going to outlast everybody in this room if we use the wood and steel structure. And that was their suggestion going forward.
And the deputy chief in Hudson that gave us a tour down there, that was all block. And he said he didn't like it. Block is very commercial. Block is very permanent. you know, if you go into Deputy Stetson's office, we didn't have computers back then. We got wires everywhere. What the future brings, I don't know. But at least you've got the flexibility and you know, with wood type, aluminum, whatever the walls are. Good solid outside structure, but, you know, if he had to do it again, he would change the interior walls from block to common construction because of the flexibility and the hominess.
The only difference between the New Boston Fire Station and what I would envision is their apparatus bay was a prefabbed metal building, and the reason for that was they had, because it was a DoD grant, they had to do the Build America Buy America program, and they couldn't get the proper steel structure on the Build America Buy America, so they had to do a prefab. It actually cost more money to do what they did with their apparatus bay.
And the 2018 cost on Hudson was 2.9.
2.9.
So why do we need something bigger than what they built?
Which one? New Boston?
Johnson.
The Hudson, they don't have any spaces for myself and Kathy. They don't have the
That's a substation.
administration. It's a
It's a
substation.
substation.
There's no, and then there's no training room. So that would be the only real addition to that. And hopefully a little bigger. Their gym is very small. I did not like that. Well, I did not like that. And I've said it since I was a firefighter. I can fight fire as long as you give me a coffee table and a gym. Those are the two. You have to have a coffee table
Why
and
do
a
you
gym.
have to have a gym? Don't you have liability with the gym?
The liability, in my opinion, and I think we have a policy on it. Health Trust has reviewed it. Our lawyers have reviewed it. We have a policy for the working out. I think it's more liability if we don't have a gym for the members. These guys do the most active, demanding thing you can do for work. And you go from 0 to 100%. It's very stressful on your heart. It's very stressful on your body. These guys need to be physically fit. When you see, I hate when you go to a fire station, you see several overweight men sitting around a table eating donuts. You don't see that at Tilton. You see guys working out. You see guys prepared to pull people out of windows, pull people out of buildings. These guys need to be in shape, and these guys need to be ready to respond. That, and then also the mental health piece. Mental health is, in my career, when we first started, you were taught to push it down and not pay attention to it. We've learned that that's not the way to do it. You need outlets to get your mental health in a better place, and physical fitness has been proven to be one of the most effective ways to improve your mental health. These guys see stuff no one wants to see on a daily basis, and being able to go downstairs and work out, run on a treadmill, lift weights, helps them with that.
Every fire station that I visited recently and the last time around, they all have gyms.
I know, I'm asking, I understand that I'm asking because the interim police chief is not in favor of reinstalling any kind of gym apparatus at the PD. He says that they are supposed to come to work fit and ready and that that's their responsibility. So now they go home every night after every shift, and you guys run 24-hour shifts, so there's probably a little difference there because they're going home, it's not going home. But he says that the town has a higher liability if they have to support a gym. And I understand that because the president of my company never wanted to have a gym because of the liability of having it, so.
Our health insurance company actually gives us, is it $600?
$500.
$500 a year to buy gym equipment for our employees. Our health insurance company wants them working out at work. And I know we've reviewed our policies with, though, it probably hasn't been reviewed in 4 or 5 years,
So
but.
do you have a nurse on call? Well, you have a bunch of EMTs.
Yeah.
I suppose that's really got
We've got eight paramedics.
Would gym memberships
Yeah.
solve that problem?
I don't think so. I think I'd rather have them working out here. We have members come back off duty to work out at the gym. I think, and then if we have a call, we have them there working out. Gym membership doesn't help when we're working when you're at the firehouse. Myself, at 4 o'clock every day, I go downstairs and work out. So I'm here until 5:30, 5:45 a lot of nights. Where if I had a gym membership, I'd be in Belmont at 4 o'clock instead of being at the firehouse at 4 o'clock. I think it keeps people in the firehouse and keeps you here.
Anybody else?
Is it the intent, I'm sorry, I stepped right on you, go ahead.
Go ahead,
In
I just
front of
didn't
me.
know if you
In
wanted to
front of
talk
me.
about the building now, or that's a
No,
public
that's-
comment. Okay, go ahead, Kevin, and then I'll-
Is the intent to have both stations manned all the time?
I think
That might, okay, I didn't know if you wanted to speak. Okay, so if you build a station, you have to put people in it. And so we talked about this from the beginning, we talked about this in the Lorero proposal. So it would be 4 and 2. So one station would have 4 members at it, one station would have 2. I think we've proven over the past, is it 4 years we've had the 4 staff? 5 years? Having the 4 staff together is invaluable to the town. You have to have that 4 staff together. So that would still, wherever we put the 4 staff, I'm not saying which one is which. I think that's an operational decision you can make, and you can actually change based on your call volume. But putting those 4 people together, that is your firefighting force. Those 4 people go together in a fire engine. When somebody's hanging out a window, those 4 people work together to get that fire out, to get a hose line deployed to start search and rescue operations. Those 4 people, they have to be together. So what do? The other station becomes like an assist crew and an EMS crew. We can run an ambulance and an apparatus that is ancillary to the firefighting activities. So my proposal would be to have 2 people at one station, 4 people at another station.
But you have a peak time of day, although it's a wide peak, I think.
Very wide, looking at near us lately.
It's the same, isn't it? It's whatever it is, meaning whatever time it is to whatever time it is. Let's just, because I'm very simple between the ears, let's say our peak problem is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's, oh shit, that's half the day.
It's more, I mean, in looking at the chart over the years, it's more like 7 to 9:30, I think, at night is our peak.
So 7 a.m. to 9:30 p.m.
Yes.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around how you bring down the cost but maintain. And those 2 get about here, and then they just butt heads, and you get the explosion. So, I'm peddling this in my head. If we have a peak problem where everything shifts that way, can you do it with less than 6 people if you cover that time over there? The other thing that spins in my head is, you said if you build that big enough, you can take either the tank or the ladder over there and there's room to put it inside. Well, if you build the headquarters here with 2 bays, you're a sneeze away from everything you own. And then your ambulance, one ambulance and one engine is wherever it is. And I heard the other day, I almost could tell you what it was, but I don't remember. I'm responding to get the other either engine or ambulance. So someone was going from, I assume, somewhere else to Park Street to get whatever it was to go wherever they were going. If you were there to start with 2 bays, everything you own is there, and you got whatever you have a duplicate of is over there. And for whatever it's worth, I think that there are more people than we know about who are steadfastly opposed to planning to go there when there's no real basis for the plan because we don't know anything. That faction, just since I've talked to you all last, has increased. And I don't, you know what I wish? I wish I had the answers.
I think
But
we all.
as usual, I got a lot more questions than answers.
I have a lot of questions, Kevin,
You
believe
know,
me.
and
The biggest
the
thing,
trying to shrink the cost but maintain it goes against logic. I can't keep what I'm doing for less money, because it costs X amount to operate. And, you know, the buildings are a lot of money, but in the big picture, it ain't gonna work. But if you're gonna end up with a small operation and try to sell it for the same price tag, I don't know how you.
Well, I hope it doesn't come back at 21 and a half.
You need-
I hope a wood frame can start building down there.
You need to, well, I guess if we could engage someone who could sell ice to Eskimos, we'd probably do all right. I mean, how do you, it's, we all know that it's an uphill battle. Relative to the building committee, I think that whatever the commissioners can do, whatever it is, to keep Lisa on the committee. I'm telling you, I don't,
You
I
can't
don't
see
care,
the look on her face.
That's why you moved behind me.
I don't care who you put on the committee. The committee will struggle without her experience.
Helen will step right in.
And thank you for saying that, Kevin, because I think everybody on the committee appreciates the level of experience that Lisa brought to the committee.
I appreciate the compliment. Is it my turn now? I have a serious problem about going back out for an RFQ. And let me tell you why. Last time we went out for an RFQ, well, we've had RFQs and we had the bonnet page in stone, and we had this. Every time we changed direction, we started over. So you lost all your previous design money. The last time we went out for an RFQ in December, I think, of 2022. We had 5 or 6 contractors show up for the pre-meeting. In the meeting, previous chiefs changed direction, blah, 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 blah. Out of the 5 or so people, we got 2 bidders. Okay, because we keep changing direction. So now, again, I understand we got cold feet, and I wish I could turn back time, because we should have gone to vote this spring. And the reason is, would it have gotten voted down? Probably. But you would have known how many votes for and how many votes not. That would have been so much more valuable than that stupid survey we did that we spent money on. We would have gotten a feel from the public, okay, this is too much, but this many people would have still gone for it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I would have voted yes, but I struggled with it because I can't put forward something that I can't myself vote yes, being retired, fixed income. There's a lot of people just like me. The reason I would have voted yes is because the longer we wait, the more it costs for a less building. So I understand where you're headed with the, we'll reduce size. My thing is, Lorero did exactly what they were asked to do. Exactly. They already have their AutoCAD program set up. They've already got buildings overlaid on the survey and all. They're already set up to keep moving. Now you're going to go out for an RFQ. It's going to take another year to get somebody else on. They've got to get up to speed. We've wasted a year. That's another $1 million in construction costs that go up. Period. Just inflation. Then you're going to do the design. And if you change the like right now we're doing design build, which you do the design and they're still doing the build, which is similar to construction management. They're just managing their own selves. So if time is money. If you continue on with the same people, you're going to save time. I know you didn't like their proposal. I looked through it. It made sense. Sorry, they're not. They don't pay their architects and engineers any more than anybody else. So engineers and architects sell time. It takes this much time to design something. They have to pay their people. So, whether we think $150,000 is too much or not, it doesn't matter. It's like, I'll give you an example. I go and I want to buy a truck. okay, I get a cost for a truck from one dealer, and I go, oh, that's too much. Then I go to 3 other dealers. Do you think those 3 other dealers are more than 1% different from the cost of the other one? Probably not. So now you're wasting time. You're thinking you're bidding. Engineers and architects don't bid like on a project. They're going to give you an estimate of their time. That's their bid. But they're all going to be within a certain range. And where Lorero already knows, we've gotten used to Lorero. They know what we're like. I don't understand why we want to change horse in the middle of the street. Because they can design exactly what you're asking. You know, you have ideas of shrinking it, this and that. They can do the same thing. They did what we told them to do. So you could save a year off your process, which is $1 million. And I guess if you take your new numbers of, say, 14,000 square feet, right, for a new station combined, you're probably going to be if you use their numbers without any inflation, whatever, you're probably going to be in the $10 million range. If I used Lorero's old 500, whatever it was per square foot, right? 585 maybe.
It was much more than that. If you take
Well, it was, but
the
then you
21
have to
million
add-
divided by the square
Oh, wait.
footage, it was
All
close to
right, I'm
$1,000
right.
bucks.
It was 700. So okay, so you're still going to be up in the 12, $15 million range. Will that fly it? And we don't know. So you know what happens is we never go to them. We never get there because we always go, oh, that's too much. We don't know what too much is. Maybe the 21 million would have flown. I don't know. But I'm just saying, don't start over. That's where I just can't. And therefore, that's why I can't live long enough to build the station if we keep starting over.
But they told us 155, then they show in the email 169, and then the other group says, no, that's way too much money, we can do it for 100 grand.
Well, you can do something for 100 grand. You're not doing the same thing. You're comparing apples and oranges. You can't compare, you have to compare scope. If they're doing you can ask for man hours. Somebody's going to say, oh yeah, we're going to spend 100 hours, and the other guy's going to spend 150 hours. You're going to get a different fee. You're going to pay for design either now or later. It all ends up in this one big number at the end. So if somebody's going to do less time now, give you a higher GMP too, because the less time they have to prepare your plans, the higher their GMP is, because they're going to cover their butt on the other end. So you can bid all you want for engineering, you're not saving money. And so essentially what you're doing is you're trying to save $50,000 when another year is going to go by, and that's $1 million. So that's just penny wise, dollar foolish. It makes no sense. Time is our enemy, and inflation is the
Are
enemy.
we required to do another RFQ?
No, you already have a contract with Lorero. You can just amend your contract and keep going. And you can
Why would
negotiate
we want
with
to
them.
keep going on a piece of land we do not own? We do not own that. The town of Tilton, they could have found out this year that put it in their warrant article to give it to us. They didn't do that. They had no intentions on. We went to the board. They did not. Yeah, we'll look into it. That's all they said. I believe that's what they said. They didn't say, yeah, we'll give it to you. That's what bothers me. You spend money up there, and then all of a sudden it gets voted down. We've lost money again.
Yeah, that was absolutely not my take of any of the meetings with the town. So
It didn't sound. It sounded like they were going to give it to us, but they weren't voted on. It does not belong to the selectmen.
we didn't ask them to vote on it this year.
They should have brought it up at the meeting, though, and said, but they didn't. So really, it's not our land yet.
Then don't spend any money.
Well,
Time is not on our side. We need something.
It never has been.
well then you can always,
Time is that big old man with a really big sledgehammer and keeps hitting us on the head with it. Not our friend.
I mean, we can come up with all kinds of reasons not to do anything. Just
You can come up
well,
with
yes.
way more reasons not to do something than you can to. Absolutely.
Is there any reason you can't get I'll call it a purchase and sales, it's a land swap agreement without going to the voters?
yeah, the town can do a land swap without going to the voters, but they would never do that. Nor would I ever ask them to.
That is.
Well, I'll go back to when I started on the committee, we were building one building at Park Street and renovating over at Center Street.
And
And
I
we changed direction.
Yeah. And I
Therefore, we came up with a $21 million project with Sanborn Road and
Right. And we developed that beautiful $4.9 million project on the Tilton School property that failed by one vote. We didn't own that property either. We didn't even have an agreement with Tilton School other than they were happy to make the property available to us. And the Manville Road property was the same thing. If you want to build the fire station up here, we'll make the property available, but we didn't own it.
so I guess how many times are we gonna make the same mistake? And keep redesigning.
I don't see why you don't do the build at Park Street and put administration there in a separate building and have a fully functioning firehouse, and you can use Center Street until then. If you get a land swap, then you can go and do the second half and bite it off one bit at a time.
I have to agree with you. I think we should start something we own that down there. We do anything down there.
Does it make sense to, what's that called? Role reversal, the two buildings. Because we have headquarters here now with whatever equipment we got. If you build over on Park Street, use that for your headquarters. Let this place sit and use it like you use Park Street now, only with what is in there. I don't know how you can't think that being a step away from at least one piece of everything you own is a bad idea. Because we talk about how long it takes to get from wherever we are to wherever we want to go. For example, if we're at Park Street, Center Street, we need to go to Park Street. We've all heard how long that takes. Well, if you can get up from here and walk to Scott's office and you've got all your equipment, I think you've got that problem out of the equation.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, wasn't the original plan, the $21 million plan, to have all that stuff at Park Street anyway? And I think Paul brought it up. I may be wrong, but I think Paul was the guy that said, listen, this isn't going to pass two towns if we don't have a presence in both towns. And with Tilton paying, 65, 70% of anything that happens, and Northfield paying the remainder, there's that whole dynamic of what's going where. Well, and forget about the cost. Where's the call volume? Where, again, Chief's got, working into getting heat maps. You gotta fish where the fish are. You gotta take care of where the concerns are. We've gone through some exercises of, redefining or reverting back to the better definitions of what the different zones are for the village and east versus west and the parts of the district. We, going back to taking care of where the actual needs are, not where, well, the equipment's convenient here. Well, if I got to take all that, I walk 3 steps to the equipment, but all the calls are miles and miles away. Why wouldn't we build a station more in the kind of the nexus of where the call volume exists? But I know it's been said many times that you're not going to get 2 towns to build 1 station in either town, and I think Paul was the guy that authored that. And we got to remember that. And I'd also like to think, if Lorero's got everything ready to do at the stroke of a button, why would they need another 160,000? That's another question. And beyond that, all the other things that we've done and all the other plans we've had, I believe we own that intellectual property. We've paid for that, those designs and paid for those. So those aren't lost. They can be revisited, they can be reopened. We own that, we've paid for that, those designs. So it's not money lost. It's sad that it hasn't been, put to anything, but, those are the ones that we lost that were actually put to a vote. So I don't know. I don't think we've lost anything by having plans under our belt, and if we can get into an RFP and have a few firms look at, hey, listen, we've done this, and here's what we have for drawings. We've done this, and here's what we have for drawings. Or that company that's already done a bunch of drawings just has to cut and paste. Doesn't take, a thousand
Actually, Jason, no,
engineer
it's not a
hours.
cut and paste job, I'm sorry.
I did it in the aerospace industry. It's called cartooning. You design a ball bearing. You cut and paste and drop that into another drawing, and you fit it to the ground. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting with existing drawings and existing scopes and, manipulating things. So I don't think if we look to move forward on looking at other companies that, may take us seriously, they know we have drawings, and I know we've done some work into this already. But anyway.
So, your fire load is here. Is it not?
Oh, you're talking about the village?
Your
Is that
fire
your
load
question?
is here.
Mhm.
Your most vulnerable citizens are here. All the elderly, veterans home, schools. Taking your equipment out of here don't make any sense to me. This is where one day, hopefully we never hear this, but this is where one day that call, structure fire, anywhere on Main Street, and we all go, shit. Because we know what that is. We saw that with Surrey Battery. What a disaster that was. Your fire load, your most vulnerable citizenry is right here, right now, and has been and probably will continue to be.
I think that's why we want to staff all stations. I wouldn't abandon the village. I would never abandon the village. The village, you're 100% right. The
But
village
if
has our
your
target
headquarters
hazards.
is over there with your 4 people and your admin.
Well, I didn't say 4, but you could put 4 at either one. I'm not saying.
But both will be built for 4?
Yes.
So could you house the equipment?
Sometime in my lifetime, we're going to have 8 or 10 firefighters on duty here. With the growth that's happening in East Hilton, to not build for that would be crazy.
But it could be a secondary build.
This one was built in 1867, and they told we were going to do a secondary build. We haven't done it yet. In over 150 years.
And we've, the last almost 50 years, have made 8 or 9 attempts to get something. We got to figure out what the sweet spot is. Because we're getting nowhere.
All right, anybody have anything else that they want to add to this conversation?
How many openings now do you have on it?
On the building committee?
Have we heard from Dennis?
No.
I've not heard from Dennis. I'd say we have, 4? We were short 1.
We were short one anyway.
That's what I said, we were short 1. Lisa, Paul, and Nathan.
So there isn't currently a quorum. Is there?
Not sure what you
7, you need 4.
Well, we would have potentially our 2 firefighters, Dennis, you. Do I count? I vote.
Yeah.
So we'd have 5.
And you always count. Come on. You need to like that.
Yeah, we will need to work on getting some numbers. Jason, anything else you want to add before we move on?
No, let's keep going.
All right. Thank you. Going to move on. New business. There's no other old business, right?
No. Knowledge.
Budget committee. new member from the town of Tilton. So that was because somebody jumped off the committee. That was Eric Pyra.
Eric Pyra has decided to,
His term.
his term was up.
He decided not to.
He decided not to be reappointed. He asked to not be, due to work circumstances. He's got a new job and he's not certain he can make the time commitment.
Okay. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, so, do we have anybody in mind who we could ask?
That's not your deal.
No. We need to post that. Those aren't elected.
Moderator.
The moderators.
Appoints them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are we in the right to offer him some suggestions to?
Yes.
If you want to, but he's the ultimate authority on appointing your budget committee.
We should ask Scott to think about that and offer him any suggestions we come up with.
Yes.
The budget members for the town, are they appointed as well?
In Northfield, they're appointed by the moderator. You could
The
change
budget
that to
committee
elected.
isn't appointed by the moderator. I was on the first one, and that's how it went.
Is the school district appointed?
No,
No,
it's
they're
not
elected.
valid.
Yeah, they're valid.
You can have it either way.
Okay.
When the budget committee was set up, though, it was to be appointed by the moderator.
It's probably better that way. If you had balloting, you'd have like the school district where nobody ran.
Yeah, but when you have one person appointing, it gives all the authority to one guy.
Yeah, I think that would have to be voted on at district meeting, I believe it would be, I don't think it's, yeah, and then it wouldn't take effect until the following year.
That's correct.
All right. Any other new business? All right. Jason, anything?
I'm good.
All right. Meeting minutes. Jason, did you have an opportunity to review the minutes that were sent out?
I did. I just can't vote on them.
Because you weren't there. Paul, did you get a chance to review?
Yeah, I did.
I actually didn't have any issues with
No?
it. There was something very minor in some verbiage, but it was very minor. All right, I move that we accept the minutes of the March 31st, 2026 meeting as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
You can't vote on those.
I know.
You can.
I'm going to take my microphone.
All right. Motion carries.
Abstain.
All right, review of the non-public session, which was disposition reports.
Make a motion we accept the non-public. 3/31/26.
All right, I'll second that. We have a motion to approve the non-public minutes of March 31st. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right. Do you have manifest and disposition reports?
Yes. The manifest we can always do after the non-public.
Okay. All right, any other public comment before we go into non-public?
Ambulance one,
Yes.
is that the older of the two?
Yes.
Is the plan to can that thing, or are we gonna keep
The plan right now, as far as is to keep it as the backup.
So it won't run first due. It'll be available at all times. You can't have an ambulance. We tried to go through the state and have just basically as a reserve piece, one other one breaks and we put all the equipment on it. The state will not allow you to do that. I don't understand why not, but they won't. So what we did is minimally outfit it with the minimum requirements. It doesn't have it's not going to have a vent on it. It's not going to have an auto pulse on it. It's not going to have the the correct IV pump on it. But it'll be available. It'll be available to run calls, and it'll be available when another ambulance goes down. It'll be the second due ambulance.
So, we're gonna keep it. That's what I just heard you say, only you said we're gonna keep it. That's words. Would you look into the term in the industry as deleting? You know where I'm going?
We deleted one other ambulance years and years ago.
Yeah, but it was legal then.
Yeah.
And it is again, I believe.
I would like to look into that before we did any committee, because we've had people arrested for deleting. Now, this was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but
They
the
were
EPA
arrested for doing it.
The EPA just rolled everything back to 2009, and if you're going to keep it, I just heard we spend $3,000 on it again this month. Or we're about to, whatever.
But we already spent it.
And I know a guy who was about to order some new trucks, and he's 90% sure they're going to come with no DEF.
Well, we will certainly look into that.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it's a chunk of money up front.
I haven't heard anything about it, but I knew there were
But
people
that
being
pain is
investigated and arrested for deleting
Oh, absolutely.
emissions
This guy in
practices.
New Jersey in federal prison for it.
Yeah, where Molten Borough and 2 or 3 other locations.
In New Hampshire.
Yes. Yeah.
So, next thing is,
Now, clarify, I'd be all for it,
oh,
but we gotta be legal.
absolutely.
Yep.
Dry hydrant at Knowles Pond. Leaning off to us, so you know that.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
never mind.
That's been out of service for about a year and a half now. What happened is it froze underneath the ground and broke underneath the ground. We kind of discussed back and forth, is it worth even fixing? Because when Knowles Pond is open, it's not frozen in, we can just throw a strainer right next to it and go fine. So we don't really need it in the summer. In the winter, Knowles Pond is so shallow, so far out, well, that dry hydrant freezes every year anyway, so it probably isn't going to work in the winter. So is it worth spending the $10,000 to $20,000 to replace it, or do we just only have water supply? That's the conversation back and forth we've had with that one.
You probably can't dredge out to
No.
deeper.
Yeah,
Maybe-
half a mile pipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I can remember. You're going to the non-public? You coming back to public?
Just to do manifest list. Yeah. We don't have any other business.
Okay. Is there contemplation of a meeting for the building committee?
Not yet.
It's, what's the date today? The 17th?
14.
14.
You don't have to pay
I
taxes.
better pay my
till tomorrow.
taxes. No, it's April 14th.
Yes. Yeah, we're getting behind.
You are almost assuredly pissing away 27.
Yep.
Remember, momentum.
Yep.
We had it.
Yep.
Let's keep it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, no, thank you. And remember, you always count.
All right, do you have the sheet for the non-public?
Of course I do.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
We're the only ones here. Would you
Alright.
take the key and lock the door, please?
I will. Once we go into the
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim?
Yes, sir.
All right, I don't know, as I'm looking at the agenda, the sequence of which non-publics we may be doing in what sequence, but if we could somehow reshuffle that so the ones I would be involved in go first,
Yeah.
and then I could kind of back out. I'm not going to sign the disposition reports. I'm not going to see them or read them or anything like that. So
Okay.
if
So,
you get into that, you can kind of sift it. So
no. Kathy had informed me of that, and so yes, we're going to go into non-public
perfect.
for the legal.
Yep.
Okay. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So today is for 14/26. Motion to enter non-public made by
I'll make a motion.
Paul, seconded by
I'll second it.
Jason. Reason for going into non-public is RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2L. Consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel either in writing or orally to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present. Roll call vote to enter non-public. Paul Ogier.
Yes.
Tim Sattler, yes. Jason Wright.
Yes.
All right. Non-public is entered at 6:41 p.m.
All right, you're back, recording.
All right, so this is the Tilton Northfield. This is the Tilton Northfield Fire District meeting of April 14th, 2026, coming out of non-public session at 7:28 p.m. And moving on to other business. Jason, do you want to continue with us, or do you need to?
I'm going to wrap it up for tonight.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you, Jason. Appreciate you being able to. If you need anything, let us know.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right. Do we need another motion to go into non-public for?
Yes, you do.
Okay. I think I need to put a little bit more in there about what we're talking about. But okay, let's
Yes.
move on. All right. This is 4/14/2026. Members present. Motion to enter non-public made by
I'll make a motion.
Paul, seconded by Tim. This is moving into non-public per RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, bracket C. Matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board. Unless such person requests an open meeting, this exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of fee, fine, or levy if based on the inability to pay or poverty of the applicant. Roll call vote to enter non-public. Paul Ogier.
Yes.
Tim Sattler, yes. We're going into non-public at 7:31 p.m.
You're recording.
And the time is?
Recording?
Yep.
Okay. This is the Tilton Northfield Fire District Commissioners meeting coming out of non-public at 7:45 p.m. We don't need to seal the minutes here. Set this down here. All right. Any other business?
I have none.
All right. Do I have to review this before we end the meeting, or can I end the meeting?
You can end the meeting and we can finish it.
Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, I'll second that. Any no discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and we're adjourning at 7:45 p.m.